one, making conditions more miserable for migrants isn't really having an effect on either asylum claims or small boat crossings. We've seen the conditions in Napier barracks, which are terrible. A huge outbreak of coronavirus, a fire that was set because people were so miserable and felt so without hope that they ended up burning down their own accommodation.
Justifying that.
Tom?
She's justifying illegality.
Oh,
criminal
God.
damage. Criminal damage.
Oh, can we just have, again, a fact-based conversation?
Well, it is a fact. Right? They break the law.
When you've got people... if you were... Hang on a second. If you were in a barracks...
I wouldn't burn it down.
Literally dozens of people around you had coronavirus. You yourself may have been deeply traumatised and suffering from PTSD because you have fled a war-torn country. Many of these people are victims of torture. Do you expect that you would behave within the same bounds of civility as you or me with our privileged existences would? No, I don't think that you would. I think the way in which you deal with... I think... No, wait. Because I think the way in which you deal with deeply traumatized people who have fled famine, fled war. Yes, many of them haven't stayed in the first country. I was going to come to this point. Yes, many of them haven't stayed in their first country where they've arrived, but actually most of them do. The UK processes fewer asylum claims than France, Germany, Greece, and in fact, Europe overall takes fewer asylum claims than countries neighbouring the ones that people have just fled.
It does seem to me there that you have just justified individuals doing criminal damage, setting fire to property. It just seems that you justified that.
I'm saying the way in which you stop this from happening. Right? I want to prevent any scenes like that from ever happening again, is that you treat people like human beings. And you take a look at Brook House Removal Centre. The Independent Monitoring Board found that a third of detainees at Brook House had to be put on constant suicide watch. Do you think that's acceptable? Do you think that that's a good way to treat human beings?
What I think is acceptable is we have a system based on rules that are followed. What I think is acceptable is if somebody breaks our immigration laws and comes here from another safe European country, that we do not allow them to stay in our country. I think most people in our country, there should be clear rules that are followed. This is very much an extreme view that you've got. It's not in keeping with the majority of people in our country who are actually compassionate and do actually want to represent the most genuine of refugees. This trade in human lives makes this harder. It makes this job harder. Your position is not a compassionate position and it is not a moral position.
I'm saying expand the number of legal and safe avenues for asylum seekers to come here and lodge their claims when they're in this country. The fact is that most asylum claims don't even come to this country, and people who do want to come to this country, it's usually for reasons of language familiarity, or they've already got a support network or family here. And what's going on with these policies is that they push people out of those safe and legal routes and into the arms of the people traffickers. So if we want to have a conversation based on reality where we agree we don't want people traffickers and people who profit off human misery to be able to exploit poor and desperate people, that means expanding safe and legal routes.
Right.
If what you want to do and what your government wants to do is just immiserate the lives of asylum seekers, you're not going to do anything to numbers, and all you're going to do is create more human misery.